Hey, welcome back to another episode of Camp and Camera. Today, we're going to knock these fenders out. Hey, welcome back everyone. If this is your first time joining us for the build of the Camp Easy 5945 Teardrop, it's good to have you aboard. Hit that subscribe button so you won't be left out on future build videos. If you're a repeat watcher, it's good to have you back. Last episode, we took some fiberglass reproduction 32 Ford truck rear fenders, and we cut those down for length and for width to be a nice fit on the teardrop, and then we installed some metal brackets on the inside. Now in this episode, we want to further reinforce those brackets with some fiberglass work, and then prep the exterior and paint it and get them mounted on the teardrop. So let's get started. I just cut 4 pieces of fiberglass cloth. I'm not sure what weight this is. It's just whatever Walmart had in the automotive department. But I'm going to start layering this on with some fiberglass resin. And I just picked up, again, whatever Walmart had. It's just called Bondo fiberglass resin. And it says you mix an ounce of it to 10 drops of catalyst. So I'm going to go ahead and put this 2 ounces in the bucket and then start mixing in some catalyst. But I'm just going to paint some resin on this scuffed up fiberglass. I scuffed it with 40 grit sandpaper. I may need a whole lot of resin. I just mixed up one little batch just to see. May have to mix up quite a bit more, but this will be for starters anyway. So I finished up fiberglassing the brackets on both fenders. I ended up putting 4 brackets on each fender, 2 large ones, one for front and the back, and then 2 shorter ones in the middle just to help stabilize it. And I ended up going with 4 layers of fiberglass cloth and resin. I put down a layer of resin, layer of fiberglass, resin of fiberglass alternately till I had 4 layers built up. I don't know that 4 is a magic number. It's just what I put down, and it seems to be pretty strong. When I grab the bracket and try to move it, it ends up flexing the whole fender. So, hopefully that'll be strong enough. I guess time will tell on that. But now that that's done, and I had a little excess fiberglass sticking out from the fenders, I trimmed that down. But now that that's done, I need to trial mount these on the camper to make sure that everything's okay before I start putting some filler and on the outside and getting it prepped for paint. So let's get these on the camper. Wow, these things are solid. I just put the, turn this around here. I just put the front bracket and the back bracket on, and this thing is super solid already. Gosh, I probably could have done this without the two top ones. I'm glad I put the top ones on there. But this thing is super solid. I'm really digging this. So I've got the fenders pulled back off the camper. Wow, those things look really nice. I'm happy with how they turned out and how solid they feel when bolted to the camper. But now, hey, it's time to prep them for paint. I'm going to take some 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to sand a few spots on the camper where I need to put some body filler. There are some little dimples, like one here, and they're, you know, spaced every few inches around the camper. I don't know if that's, you know, some kind of a mark from the mold where they were made or what, but I want those to be smooth, so I'm going to sand those with some 80 grit, and then I'm just going to use some Bondo brand body filler and get this prepped for primer. So the body filler has dried. I'm just going to sand that down with some medium grit sandpaper and see how that smooths out. Now that I have these on some stands, I just wiped the excess dust off with a microfiber cloth. And I'm just going to take some alcohol and a clean microfiber cloth and really give them a good final cleaning before I put the primer on. So I have both the fenders primed now. Put about 3 coats of primer on each fender. I'm using a Rust-Oleum filler primer. It's a high build formula. Got it in the automotive section, and it said that it would remove scratches and minor imperfections, and it certainly did. This did a really good job. Now I just need to sand it down and get it prepped for the top coats. I'm going to wet sand these fenders. It's not something I've done before personally, but I've read about it on the net, and I've just got a real fine grit foam sanding block, and I'm just going to wet it with this water hose and see how it goes. So I've switched over now to a 600 grit sandpaper. I don't know what the grit was, the little foam sanding block I was using. I think it was just a touch more coarse than this though. So this is some pretty fine sandpaper. I'll finish up doing the primer prep with this. There's a few little spots when I was using the foam sanding block where I sanded just far enough I could start seeing the faint color of the black come through, but not too concerned about that. I'll be putting a couple 3 coats of color over it, so And besides, I'm not going to enter this in any kind of a contest or put it in a museum. I want it to look good, but it doesn't need to be a showpiece. Now that the fenders have primer on them, it's time to put on the color and see what these things are going to look like in their final form. Actually, I'm going to have to confess, I've already put the color on. I did that last night when I got home. I'm actually jumped forward a whole day on the build. The reason I did that, and the reason I didn't film that part of the process, other than not wanting to get my camera covered with paint, is I wanted you to see the fenders in their final color on the camper. Just let's do a big reveal. Now, usually the cap indicates the color. You all know that I've been teetering back and forth between black and between green. I went to a local auto parts store on a tip from a good friend at work. They mixed up a custom paint for me, 3 different cans of it. It's a single stage automotive paint, which I think it has like a catalyst mixed in with it. Super durable paint. Brought it home, put it on these fenders. They're mounted. They look fabulous. So let's do a big reveal and let you see what color I went with. And here they are. I ended up going with the green. The fenders were black fiberglass when I first picked them up, and when I put them on the camper, they look pretty sharp, and I almost went with the black. But this green is in keeping with my original design and artwork for the camper. And on my original artwork for the camper, I have a stripe, a green stripe that goes from right about here. It follows the contour of the roof and ends right about here. And it also has like a black shadow. And then I also have another stripe that goes from here forward and then back. It's a green stripe with a black shadow as well. So I'm going to go forward with that original design and have a green fender and green stripes. Probably we'll do a green tongue box, maybe, probably. Don't know, we'll have to see on that one. But for right now, these fenders really pop. These look super good. I wasn't able to take one of these decals with me because I already used them all. I wanted to take one of these to the paint shop, try to get the green matched as close as I could. So I actually had something else that I took that was a very, very similar shade of green, and they did a custom color match, and they came out pretty close. I'm pretty happy with these. So yeah, I think this is a big win for the Camp Easy. So if you've been following the build on Facebook and especially on YouTube, you know I've been swapping back and forth between black and green. Ended up going with the green. I actually printed a picture out of the camper the other day with a black fender on it, and then I went into the computer and I changed the color from black to green and put the stripes on, and I kept going back and forth between the two, and I ended up deciding to go with the green. It really speaks to me. I really like it. I took a picture of it a while ago, and it looks a little bit more of a true green on the picture, so I don't know how it's looking on the video. It actually has a pretty strong yellow component to it. It's kind of a medium dark lime green, if that makes sense. So in person, it's really sharp. It's almost like a bright John Deere green in a way. But hey, thanks for hanging in there with me on the build of the fenders and the painting of the fenders. Again, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here so you can keep up with more build videos. We are nearing the end of the build, but the videos won't end there. We'll be getting the camper out in the wild and using it, and hopefully running into some of you all, making some more videos about that. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.